Hello. In today's video, I'm going to talk about upgrading Equilibrium from the command line version to the config file version. Let's start with the fact that the update is not yet on GitHub. I wanted to do this video so that you can begin working on your config files without disturbing your trading. This way, when you do get the update, you will simply be able to convert it over with a simple reboot, and everything will work nice and easy. So again, let me reiterate this. The update is not yet up on the server. This video is strictly to show and demonstrate how to convert this information into a config file. So let's start with the following command. Type this in, and you can be anywhere. There's nothing specific about this command. Type it in, and you'll get this list. Print screen it, copy it to Notepad, whatever method you prefer, but you need this information. This is important because it will help you get everything set right. Take your time and double check your details. You don't need all of this nonsense over here on the left, and you really don't even need to separate anything here except for futures versus spot. But you need to know your exchange and all of the information that you are using for each individual asset. Sorry about that, tongue-tied there. So once you have this information written down, then we will go into the Equilibrium folder. Now, once we are inside the Equilibrium folder, I'm going to bring up Midnight Commander to demonstrate this next part. Create a folder called config with the F7 key, or you can just put your config files in the main folder. I personally chose to separate everything just so all of my config files are in a different location. So let's start with the very basic systems. The exchange, the account, the asset, your boundary in percentage, your number of buy lots, and your number of sell lots. If sell lots is not here, it's exactly the same as your buy lots. And let's demonstrate that with this one. Boundary 1%, buy lots of 1 lot, but sell lots is not available. It's not listed. And of course, double check and make sure you don't have any mistakes. No commas at the end. The system won't like that. Take your time. And also, let's get into the advanced functions. Now we're getting into the new portions that Equilibrium supports. Percentage balance is now built into the framework. So buy lots of balance. Sell lots dynamic tells the system to take whatever percentage of profit and use the depth of the current coin to determine that percentage appropriately. An oversell explicitly tells the system to use that percentage of the profit. So in this case, our boundaries are 1%, so our profits are going to be 1%. So this will take, at most, worst case, 20% of the profit will be the oversell. So from that 20%, if we have a depth of 10, it will take 10% of that profit. So let's actually do some math here. So let's say we have a $10 position size with a 1% profit. That leaves us 10 cents. So from that 10 cents, our worst case scenario is going to be 20% or 2 cents. Now, of that 2 cents, if we have a depth of 50, meaning 50 positions, it's going to take 50% of that 2 cents, or just 1 single cent will be the burn off. I know that sounds confusing, but the goal behind this system is to make it much more efficient between balancing the burn off and the profitability. So as you can see, this really is pretty straightforward. You can have different layers all together and different types of settings. But this really is the extent of just how simple the new process is. Your buy lots can be a number. Your sell lots can be a number if you want an absolute burn off rate. If you want it dynamic, then you can put an absolute maximum to your burn off rate. If you leave oversell out, it automatically defaults to 20%. If you don't want any dynamic behavior at all, you simply force your sell lots to your buy lots, and there's no oversell rate whatsoever. So this simple process guarantees the migration should be as easy as possible between the command line version and the config version. I've tried to simplify this in terms of what's available just to make sure that the migration goes smoothly and logically. You do not need to disable your existing working equilibrium systems while you make these files, because they won't be active until all of the updates are fully in place on the GitHub server. So as you progress, take your time and be sure to look over this video several times. This is perhaps the most advanced configuration that you will most likely run into throughout the whole system. Just remember, this is a percentage of balance, and this is dynamic burn-off based upon a maximum burn-off rate. You could set this to 10%, 5%, 1%, or you can disable it altogether simply by putting buy lots as your sell lots. Very simple, very easy, very intuitive compared to the previous versions. Now there are lots of other functionalities available, and I'm going to cover those eventually, but I wanted to get the basic system ready. The framework that puts the new environment identical to your existing environment. The next video will talk about how to set your boundaries, which includes things like this. Where you set a low and a high for your buy stops and your sell stops. But of course, you would need to know the prices to work with. But for now, let's just keep this simple and easy. Again, take your time. Make sure you have all of your functionality. Be sure you record all of your details carefully. Exchange, account, asset, boundary, buy lots, and auto will simply turn into dynamic. The entire automatic system has been replaced by the dynamic system. And of course, if you're dealing with your futures, long and short for your direction, and that is just strictly a direction verb. Very easy on that. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the support server or leave them down in the comment section below. And until next time.